Hello, South Florida.
We have a very fresh idea.
Lots of very, very successful contractors, vendors, drivers, AOs.
You are about to see our performance.
Progress intelligently planned.
PCs, maybe even some FedEx employees.
Well, put away the pot roast and get a sitter.
This guy's really pressing his luck.
Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
The world's largest electronic game room, state-of-the-art video game.
We would love to see everyone there.
Get one of these.
Ta-da. Scared you, didn't I?
And for now, check out our badass intro.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see two dummies.
Say something, please.
Oh, we gotta hurry, though.
Hey, where are you going?
Yo,
we're back. Episode 8, man. It's going well. How you doing?
I'm very, very good. How are you doing?
Good.
Happy Tuesday evening.
Happy Tuesday evening. It's what we live for. This is why I even get up on Tuesdays, just to wait for this moment right here. But take two.
Yeah, welcome everybody around the hub. Atlanta Conference, Episode 2, Part 2. He was with us last week. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties and it was just absolutely unbearable. So we cut it early and we're never going to air that show. So if you weren't live with us, then you're never going to see it again. So, oh well. But we are here trying again.
Take two. Let's do it right this time.
Hell yes.
All right.
So you tell us what are we here doing? I don't even remember.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we did the first part of the vendors we saw at the Linehaul Regional Conference. It was amazing. Had a lot of resources there, but it wasn't all of them. This week, we bring you the rest of them.
Yep. So at the Atlanta conference, Linehaul News put it on. We spent a lot of time talking to vendors, the people who are taking their time, spending their money, their effort to help make a Linehaul business run smoother, more profitable, easier. We want to showcase anybody who wants to spend their time, in our industry, in our space, and helping people run better businesses. We want to talk to you. So tonight is just some more of those interviews. And remember, they're just shorter clips starting today, actually, because Ansel scooped me. We'll have the longer videos posted on it. If you have any interests, check out the videos and reach out to them. So a lot of contractors, a lot of vendors can help make your business run easier. That's the whole point of what we do. Looking for success, simplicity, profitability. So if it's okay with you, should we start with Ansel?
Let's cue it up. Let's do it.
What's going on,
everybody,
guys?
let me get your attention.
We're here with Ronik.
Woo, we're live.
And Ansel.
Well,
hey,
how's how are you?
Good.
I did not expect that.
Oh, there you go. That's what we do. Keeping it alive.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome. All right, so tell us very quickly, what do you do?
All right, I try to do as little as possible.
Hell, man, that's around hard. Oh my God.
Smart man.
So we actually do recruiting and we make it simple for you guys, right? So as a contractor, I'm an ex-contractor myself, P&D. So I saw a need with my partner, my brother-in-law. He wanted to become a contractor. I learned quickly to attract CDL drivers, you have to be really good at two things, which is number one, advertising, right? And number two is how do you get to them before anybody else does?
That's important. Those 2 points right there. Advertising and getting to them first.
Exactly. So we include everything, right? We're a flat, basically we provide flat fee. For a team, we have a flat fee plus success fee. So our goal is to make sure that you get the guy or the lady, whoever needs a seat, but in the seat, basically.
Can you tell us what the fee is?
Yeah, sure. So we kept it simple. I'm a simple guy. I don't like to do things differently. So for a solo, assigned or unassigned, we charge $999 a month. That includes advertising, getting them through First Advantage, so you don't have to worry about it. And we've actually created a dashboard for contractors. So dashboard shows them exactly where they are in the process of the funnel.
Hold on. Let's talk about the $999 a monthly fee.
Yeah.
What do I'm a contractor. I need to have butts in the seat.
Yep.
What do I pay $1,000 a month for?
So you're a good question. So you're paying $1,000 a month for is advertising, getting to the candidate, getting them through First Advantage.
Okay.
And then once they're through First Advantage and they fit because every contractor is different, they gotta fit your mold, right? They gotta fit your criteria of the driver being the person. So once you hire them, we basically say, hey, this is a success fee of $750. That's it, right? $750 for every successful hire.
Okay. So, and are you guys having the conversation with the drivers, or are we?
Yeah, 100%. So we have actually 42 callers who are constantly calling, right? Like I said, two things you got to be good at. We're really good at advertising. We utilize AI, and we post it on different platforms, right? Your normal platforms are Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Craigslist, but then we also utilize social media, which is Facebook. It's very important. So like we created the program of digitizing and getting them on different platforms like Facebook, Instagram, whatnot.
Here's the cool thing about Ansel, and I think I said this before, which is they're kind of merging, like the digital world with like the old school and recruiting and doing everything. So like with them, you get a dashboard and you get to track the people they're recruiting and then them throughout the whole process. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if anyone else does it. I'm sure there are other ways that people could do it, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's kind of like you can check in whenever you want. You don't necessarily need to chase anyone down, get them on a phone, but you can track as they're going. And, full service, right? First, recruit them, people calling them, getting to them first, getting those ads out, and also just people calling, just having the people available to get them in the door.
He made a point that I think is so valid when it comes to the recruiting game. And it's you got to get to them first. So we've spoken to several recruiters and there's more. And I think there's lots of people that are coming into the space and recruiting drivers. It's lengthy. It takes a lot of time. And the First Advantage process is one of the most miserable parts of being a Linehaul contractor. So you have these vendors that have, do a really good job with it and, offer services, very reasonable amount of money. And we say all the time, you have to be good at recruiting. If you're going to be a successful contractor, you have to be good at recruiting. And if you can't be good at recruiting, then just hire somebody who can to help support your business. It's the most important part of running a Linehaul business by far, is having access to drivers, retaining those drivers. It's drivers. Now, there's lots of CDL drivers. There's, I don't even know the number, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, however many CDL drivers are out there. And we need recruiters and companies who are going to reach outside of our small little pond into the ocean, grab those drivers and bring them over, convince them why FedEx is a great place for these drivers to spend their time. And so for any of these companies that are out there, hitting the phones, promoting FedEx Linehaul, we want to support them. We want to support you and help make your business as successful as possible, because that's going to make our business as successful as possible when you're bringing drivers into our small little ecosystem. So obviously Ansel's, they're going to be huge, but to everyone, keep up the great work. We need it. And for anybody who's interested, find somebody who works for you, and we'll help you navigate through the recruiters and figure out who has the right fit, the right pricing, the right model. Everybody seems to offer kind of a different flavor, but at the end, we're all trying to get drivers, and there's certainly one that can help you.
You just touched on something that I think is like really important. We're showing all these vendors, and someone watching this, especially first-time contractors, might go like, well, hold on, you're showing me all these people, like which one's the right one for me? And it's I think a lot of it comes down to who's the best fit for you, whether that's relationship-wise, personality-wise, how you like them to work. And, we're saying like, hey, these guys are all legitimate. They all have a good value proposition. And it's probably worth your, your time to just reach out and have an initial conversation to see who you feel is the best fit. Of course, there's things like pricing, and yes, we have people that work for us, and I mean you in particular, who you've liked to work with in the past, so they can be your first phone call, sure, but it's probably worth it. I don't know if you would agree, to just at least call those 3 recruiters and just see who gives you the best feeling and the most confidence.
I am starting a new Linehaul business very soon, just myself. I'm not sharing with anybody. It's the first time I haven't had a partner in a business. And what I'm doing with that is trying to create that automated system, that passive income that it seems like everybody's looking for. And I'm talking to every recruiter, and this is a lot of help for me because I'm interacting with everybody and saying, okay, exactly, how do I want to run my business? How do I want to be involved? Who do I want to hire? How do I want to take that current Linehaul business and change it to meet my needs? And when you buy a Linehaul business, just because the previous contractor has been running it a certain way, certainly doesn't mean that you have to run it the same way. And that's what all of this is about. That's what these vendors are about. The who can help you run your system in the most effective way for you. And that's going to look very different than what it is for me. But it's how do you find the people that you work with? So even for me, I'm trying to branch out, reach more people. Who's going to help me run the most profitable business and allow me to put in the least amount of effort as possible, while I can trust that, I have a safe fleet, SRS scores remaining fantastic so that I can grow that business. And I think everybody, when you learn Linehaul, when you know Linehaul, everyone's going to be in the same boat, hopefully following my lead. So I will be sharing a lot of that information in the weeks to come.
It's like a YouTube Shorts journey kind of montage.
I know. I hire a documentary for following me around.
I like it. All right. Next up, we have Protective and Marsh. Names you will definitely hear if you're going to FedEx. Let's do it.
Hey, this is Rick and Christian.
And Christian.
Hey, Rick.
And Rick.
Listen, we have some breaking news for all FedEx Linehaul contractors. Listen up and listen good. Contrary to popular belief, we have just confirmed that Marsh and Protective are indeed 2 completely separate companies. You heard it here
No one else
first.
brings you this kind of news. There we go. Breaking.
We are uncovering. We are investigative journalists.
We get in deep. We uncover the dirty stories. Here we are.
How deep are we getting?
We're going to go deep, guys. Here we go. We have Amy, we have John, we have Jason, we have Al.
What up, guys?
So very quickly, John, can you tell us, what does Protective do?
Sure. Protective is the insurance for the carrier, and our group specifically provides the safety services for FedEx ground service providers in the areas where you would like to have your own personal safety consultant on board. That's what the services we offer to mitigate or eliminate not only accidents or collisions, but also injuries.
Got it. Jason, tell us about you.
Yeah,
and then tell us about Marsh.
Jason, so Marsh, we're the biggest broker in the world, but we have a customized FedEx solution product that we've put together the last 15 years now. So it is a lot of consultative risk, evaluating where the risk is, how do we solve it, and create that peace of mind in a pamphlet for you to walk away. So at the end of the day, you get an accident, something happens, driver's taken care of, business is running, everything's still functioning appropriately.
Amy, John, I'm a new contractor. I got to make sure my safety is in place. I'm coming to you. What's our first conversation like?
My first question is usually asking if you have any experience in it, because some of these guys do, and then they take over a route, or they have none at all. And then we start looking at whatever their safety plan is, or their book for FedEx, and try to kind of ping at the things that we can do first for them, whether it's training, auditing, or just doing like JHAs and trying to help them out.
Okay, and so you got contractors coming to you. What do you see as being the biggest safety issue?
Slips, trips, and falls, number one by far.
So me around the truck or just me being on the clock? And
anywhere once you step foot on FedEx property or on duty, that's where you're subject to potential for an injury.
How do I stop someone from falling?
Some of the best practices over time are 3 points of contact in and out of a vehicle. And Marsh, as they partner with us on this, is slip-resistant footwear. So what that does is can actually eliminate a slip on those freshly waxed office floors or that concrete dock with water on it. They get like ice. These slip-resistant shoes can eliminate that part of the injury, a potential injury.
So things I don't even think of will obviously brought up for someone coming to you guys. Now,
are you doing this entire interview? I'm not sure because you seem to be the only one talking.
I can do it all, guys. So, what would you change about FedEx from your perspective? It can be anything. If anything at all. If you guys feel it's perfect, you can say it's perfect.
I can't really speak to FedEx because our direct contact is with the service providers. Yep. My focus is to making them successful and not to make them have to even worry about their insurance, thinking about that part. That's where we come in. But to provide the safety services so they can be profitable and keep everything running so that their business is running.
Fair point. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Thoughts?
There's no way in hell that Marsh is going to answer this question. I guarantee it. So we're going to pass.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much. Very quickly, where can people find you?
They can find us at www.protectiveinsurance.com.
Awesome.
www.marsh.com/independent programs.
Breaking news, Linehaul Solutions.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, let me start this. And there's an inside joke that Darius and I have had since we started, which is Marsh and FedEx are not the same company, but it feels like sometimes, like the owner of Marsh was like John Smith's little brother. And you just don't know better. And it's like when you start, sometimes you just assume that Marsh is like the insurance company that you go through. And then you learn that there's other competitors out there with them. So we always made the joke, Marsh and FedEx, they're the same company. They're in cahoots. Not really. And then Protective and Marsh, I don't know if I knew that they were two different companies until we walked in and saw them have separate booths. And they get a bad rap sometimes, I think, from me, lightheartedly, because like they're the player, right? They have the market share. They're the biggest. And so, you throw shade at them. But with Marsh, when you can't get insurance because your company doesn't have any history, you go to Marsh.
Happened to me.
and they provide a very reasonable truck insurance, your bobtail insurance that you need, and they'll do workers' comp as well. And then at some point you decide, hey, maybe I've, grown out of them, or there's better options, or I can get cheaper pricing. And so like with everything else, you're just meeting the other vendors out there. And at the very beginning, it might be only Marsh that's going to work with you, especially on the truck insurance side of things. Workers' comp, not necessarily the case. And then you grow and your business evolves. And so that's a very informative interview. They had, a ton of information that it's been so long I don't remember anymore. But watch the whole thing, especially from their perspective. Very interesting to see Marsh speak on their behalf, which was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can just comment on directly from experience. When I was, going through the onboarding process, I obviously, I knew CIA and I was able to reach out, but I didn't qualify. I handed my loss runs, didn't qualify for any insurance. And before I even went to anybody, the first thing FedEx kind of mentioned was like, you got to reach out to Marsh. They're the ones you have to go to. But Marsh is willing to work with first-time contractors, which is great for me. And they know the space, obviously. So, first when you go to, they're willing to work with first-time contractors. So for sure, good people to work with as far as I can tell.
And just for anyone who's watching this who may be in the process or still starting, Marsh, I don't know the word, and Dave Campbell and Joel will make fun of me, but there's something. They like service, they're their servicer, whatever. So when you get your insurance, you get your insurance through somebody and you give it to Marsh and they verify it. And as part of the process, getting that Marsh cert, getting them to review your insurances, your 3 insurances, and getting their Marsh cert is really the end of that process of buying a new business. Once you have that, you're basically done. So we're always waiting for the Marsh certs to come. And in a lot of cases, we're not waiting for Marsh to give us insurance. We're waiting on Marsh just to look at our insurance and say, hey, it's good. But they also can't do anything until they see your V number in their system, which that can be complicated. But Marsh provides the certs. Marsh verifies that you have insurance. And if your insurance lapses, it's Marsh that's going to reach out to you and say, we're going to place, we need to get this figured out. In the video, they mentioned, help me.
Non-slip shoes. So one of the biggest things they see, right, is falls. So
good point. I had no idea what a slip-resistant shoe was. And he said that, and I was like, I don't know if I know exactly what that means. So we just typed it into Amazon and found that there's a lot of slip-resistant shoes, such as these beauties right here. If you were going to pick one, which ones would you be rocking?
Oh, the Crocs, 100%.
Those are hot.
Talk about air, just getting the airflow through there, keeping it fresh, non-slip. That's the way to go.
Are those like J's in the lower right-hand corner?
They're high tops. Knock off J's.
Those are fresh. So
those are popular.
I think, for me, when you get to the point of you're really trying to preach safety, giving some shoes that your specific driver will find attractive in a gift basket, Christmas present, whatever. Perfect way to promote safety. Hey guys, the biggest thing that we see in terms of injury around the terminal is slips and falls, ice type stuff. So, here's these. I care about you guys, love you guys, don't want anything to happen to you. Here you go. Boom. You got that driver for an extra couple of months. They're not going anywhere. Who else gave them, shoes because they care about them so much?
Yeah, I was not expecting him to say slips and falls, but what you just said right there, I think is spot on, man. Just getting like a welcome present, right? The shoes, the gift basket. I think you're spot on.
And there's stuff on there. I mean, under $30, you're getting a pair of slip-resistant shoes. It's the point, right? It's the thought that counts. So, all right, Vin, who do we got next?
Let's do it. Roll it.
He doesn't know.
What up, guys? We're here with Mike Lopresti.
Mike, why the hell do I care about my tire pressure?
Boom. Quite simple. Underinflation wastes a lot of fuel and makes your tires wear out prematurely. You can save a lot of money with the right tire pressure.
Okay, you said I could save a lot of money. In my head, I'm thinking, was that a couple pennies?
No, we're talking like 10 to 12% of your fuel spend. But first, in the current environment, just know it's all about safety too. So really, this is the play on safety first. But it pays for itself because the savings in excess of our costs. So at the end of the day, what are you doing? Saving a lot of fuel, right? Number two is that goes right in your pocket. And the second thing is if your tires are lasting longer, that's less tire changes. That's how you want to run a business. You're quick. If you get 400 tires you got to deal with, it's too many. If you can half how many you change, you're down to much smaller context of how many tires change.
Okay, I know I need to do it.
Only skeptical. Hold on a second. Hold on. You're telling me with a straight face that I can save 10% on my fuel just by using your system?
Yeah. So
why doesn't everybody use it?
Well, actually they are. So we're now making all the way. So here's what's the thing that's unknown. It just ends up with the FedEx system, the network, right? You got drivers now that are focused on making the runs. They're doing a pre-trip, but they're not doing a great job. But let's say they find a tire problem. It's really no way they can conveniently solve that. If you're going to ask a driver, hey, stop your route, go find a truck stop, fill up your tires, two things are going to happen. One, they're not going to do it. And number two, the reality is they won't do it correctly, right? So what happens is we come out in the middle of the night, we're constantly inflating those tires, and then we're going to make sure that truck's ready to go the next day. So we don't replace the tires. Let me tell you why. It's very strategic. We just do what's called the tire pressure management and the tire optimization. The reason we don't want to replace the tires, or if there's a tractor issue, we got to tell you about it, is because we want you to correlate. Let's say you got a bad rim, bent rim, bad alignment, right? Well, that truck is a driver connected to that truck. And when you're looking at your numbers, we want you to know, hey, I got a truck problem. The maintenance is high. Who's the driver, right? We want you to be able to correlate that so you can run your business and you have that feedback, right? If we go fix all that stuff, the problem is going to end up being is you won't be able to attribute it to a driver, and then that becomes an issue. So what we really want to do is give it to you, so now you have a management problem.
This is for new contractors out there. How often should they be replacing tires or thinking about replacing tires?
Right. Great question. So it ends up it's highly variable. Why? Because remember, most line haul guys don't even know how much weight they're carrying, right? So we know that the guys that are running, overnight and the big teams, we can get a couple 100,000 miles on their tires, right? What we actually do is for every tractor, we measure where they are, and then we actually start to show here's the increase. And so it's not unreasonable that you can get 150,000 miles off a decent set of tires if you take care of them. Right now, the problem is because there's not much maintenance, tire pressure maintenance, guys are just throwing money away, and it's a shame.
Give me your opinion about running the super singles, the wide ones, versus the traditional.
So the super singles is interesting. The fuel efficiency benefit is actually there, right? Less weight, there's a lot of advantages. The knock on super singles is if you have an issue, you end up, it's hard, you can't limp to a truck stop or whatever. So that's the real big knock. But the reality is, given the weight, the cost of the tire, it is actually a very good play. What's interesting about that is we have a great interest in it, right? Because we think with our service, we can almost ensure that super single will run better. So we're trying to put some stuff together and work with some super singles to do it. If anybody's in FedEx wants to try it, I'm all in favor. I mean, it's an interesting idea actually to take a 3-axle tractor. A lot of people are going to dual axle, but if we took a 3-axle tractor and put super singles on it, that'd be an interesting idea. Great idea.
So this blew my mind. Can you tell me, and when I started the process, at no point did I think about my tire pressure or who I would need to solve that issue. I was thinking, insurance, trucks, recruiting, right? All that. At what point do I have to start thinking about that and having the conversation with Mike? You know better than I do.
It's as soon as you can. And you sometimes prioritize when you are coming in as a new contractor, you kind of prioritize the importance. And I think a lot of new contractors, especially the ones with zero trucking background, which is everybody, come in and say, man, I got to work on the recruiting, the money, the stuff that FedEx constantly is yapping about, the terminals. This is what we need from you. You don't have a team. Your run's not running. Oh my God. And when it comes to the trucks, I think a lot of times people are like, well, the trucks, that's the drivers handle the trucks. That's their thing. I expect my drivers or my manager to maintain these trucks in a way that's not my area. Or they're running Ryder trucks, Penske trucks, whatever lease companies. I don't have to worry about that. I got a full service lease. What do I care? Well, you care a lot based on, the data that he provided in terms of the fuel savings that'll come from just having air in your tires. And I'm saying this right here. We love drivers. They're phenomenal. They provide such a valuable service. And there are some outliers. There's some drivers who do proper pre-trips or checking their tire pressure, actually have, the gauge, the measure, but most don't. Most absolutely do not. They're not checking their tire pressure. You'd be lucky for them to check the grooves and measure it to see, if their tread is time. But I know more now. I understand what a big deal it is. And there's lots of attention on tire pressure and how that relates to safety on the road. Blowouts lead to accidents, and obviously a tire that's not properly inflated will certainly cause you more money in terms of fuel. So I think that's something you want to get an understanding of early on. It's probably a 20-minute conversation with Mike, and maybe that's a service you decide to go with. But having somebody verify that your tires are inflated is cool. It's critical just from a safety aspect of it, and from a hassle, like a money standpoint. There, I can go on this forever, but I'll say this quickly. When you're buying a business, you assume that trucks are going to break down all the time, and you're like, oh, I got to have a spare truck. And what happens when my truck happens here? And I don't want to run this old truck. That's not generally a concern. Yes, you're going to break down in random ass places, but for the most part, when your trucks break down, they're going to break down to a level that they're still going to be able to get back to the home terminal. They're going to limp back. It's going to go slow. It's not going to be optimal, but it's going to get back. And then you have to deal with that expensive maintenance issue at your home terminal. The one issue that happens everywhere are those tire blowouts. That sucks. And it sucks from a FedEx standpoint, because if you're somewhere where they can't fix that tire immediately, they're just going to take the loads from you. Well, we can't get can't get the, what is it? Not First Advantage. Whoever the AAA for FedEx is, I should know, whatever. I never call them. It's illegal in my business. FleetNet. We can't get FleetNet out there in time. Oh, but there happens to be another truck bobtailing randomly around. We'll just come pick up those trailers from you, take those miles from you, while you sit there and wait. So it's the nuisance of it. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge amount of money. Go.
Sorry, just a quick question. So they take all the miles, like that. The one who picks it up is the one that gets all the miles for that trip.
Not
all right.
So it's interesting. TSPA, I don't think they're supposed to, but there have been times where we've not gotten any miles for the run when we had a breakdown, and you almost don't even want to fight for it, because it's like, dude, your truck broke down, like the trailers were late, you're dealing with other stuff, and it's like you just kind of put your head down, and it's like, oh man, I take that, bite that one, that sucks, fight another day. But I think that this is a much bigger issue. I think technology is going to continue in its advancements, and being able to measure tire pressure, remotely is going to be something. We're going to have a lot of vendors, a lot of opportunities for a contractor to manage their tire pressure better.
Yeah.
Had you thought about tire pressure before that conversation, Mike?
Not a single time did I think about my truck tires. I was just like, I knew I had, I was going to take on a truck that was being repaired. So I was like, all right, what do I do with maintenance? Just got to find a maintenance guy. Never did I think about tires. And then we had that freshman orientation seminar where I learned about, like, you want to kind of track your miles per gallon, but just your mileage efficiency. And there's just the smallest variation can, on an annual basis be a major spend. Mm-hmm. And then I listened to Mike here, who goes 10 to 12, checking your tires, 10 to 12% of your fuel spend, it can help you save. And that just blew my mind. It's like, you spend a ton on fuel. So it makes your truck go.
If people who are selling their line haul businesses, if I could take 10 to 12% out of that fuel expense line item, I'd sell a lot more deals.
Maybe just start working that in.
We're going to include that interview, like, at that process. Oh, well, here's the numbers, but wait, please watch this.
There's more,
Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Anyway, I think for me, Mike was like the darling, right? We talked about, TLC is the other one, kind of the unknown, that I can't believe this exists, that I didn't know about it. I didn't understand it. Mike's another one. It's like, you dummy. You should have been on top of that. So we're already talking. So it's in the works.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool when he said, you're able to track down who's having the trouble with maintenance and kind of help cure if there's a specific driver that's having a specific issue, cure that if possible, or, maybe you have to go and change that situation. I thought that was interesting.
Yep. You'll see who cares, who's running trucks that shouldn't be running. How professional are your drivers? How good of a pre-trip do they do? Who's running tires that are worn down too far? that's all very, very relevant. For me, my business, having somebody help me check that would be very imperative to help me take that next step in running a more successful line haul business. Because
Yeah.
it's something that sometimes it feels you can't be on top of everything. You can't do everything. So you need help. Just another way to run a more effective business.
Agreed, man. Everyone who calls is like, how remote or passive can this be? And I think what you're outlining now, creating that blueprint for, is what everyone kind of strives to be, right? Like you want to know what's going on in your business, but you don't necessarily want to be bogged down by the day-to-day, the issues, and this will help kind of mitigate that and just figure out how to report, record, and improve. I have a question for you. Mike mentioned a super single. What's a super single?
Oh my God. So we had trucks with super singles on them. We didn't buy them like that. We did buy them like that. Sorry, the trucks came with it. And it pulled up into the yard and I was like, Darius, what the shit is this? So then if you could find some pictures of a super single, if you haven't already, that's it right there. So it's just
Oh,
having two tires, it's just one big wide one. And those are meaty. Those are some expensive ass tires right there. Um, the idea is you only have one tire, which seems cool. Why do I need two when I just pay for one? Now, from my perspective, it was the what happens if scenario. If one of those tires blows, truck's not moving, and you have to call like the FleetNet people and say, hey, I need a super single, and they may not have that. So I don't know if I have a good understanding of how to run these successfully. Darius may know better, but I do know we don't run them. But I'm open to it, like let somebody else work through the problems and give me the blueprint of how to run them successfully. Sure, we'll talk about it. And FTS might be a way to do that.
I like it. All right. Enough about tires. Should we keep moving?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's cue it up. Next up, we got Resource 7.
All right, everybody.
What's going on, guys?
Randy and Kirby with Randy Mobley, and I'm with Resource 7. I'm the owner. We're here in the Atlanta area, and we provide benefits to companies all across the country.
What type of benefits?
Health insurance, dental insurance, disability, life insurance, anything that a client would need.
So CDL drivers care about health benefits?
They do.
Oh,
especially older drivers. Drivers that tend to be older have more health issues normally, and they have families. So families care about providing care for their children, their spouses, that kind of thing. So yes, we see more participation with usually 35 and up than we do with the 25 to 35 range.
So when I'm thinking about attracting new drivers, retaining, pay's number one, right? Our benefits number two.
I would say it's number two because it's all part of the compensation package. So the more that the employer can afford to pay the health benefits, the less the employee has to pay, which saves them money.
Gotcha. There are some options out there. What would you say makes you guys different?
What we provide is a whole integrated system for the benefits, how to enroll, how to maintain and retain employees, how to hire them. We provide them an HR platform, an HR tools. We provide them with an enrollment system. So kind of a complete package where we're not just providing them with the benefits, we're providing them the administration and the support that they need to implement the benefits.
Walk me through how that works. I am a contractor and I come to you guys directly and I say, hey, you don't want to provide this for my drivers? Is that typically how it works? And you give us a quote?
Right. Because of the shortage of drivers, most companies are fighting over the same drivers. So offering benefits is a part of that package. And it's like Kirby said, the more that they contribute toward it, the less that it costs for the driver. So that's what they're looking for, especially the older, more experienced drivers. So as a retention and new hire tool, that's what the benefits are there for. And then what we do is make it accessible to them because drivers are in their their trucks, So how do they get enrolled? How do they ask their questions? How do they get their help? And that's what we provide, that administrative assistance, so that they can get the help they need while they're on the road, so they can be productive with their time.
Obviously, the first thing I'm going to ask is, well, how much is that going to cost me? I don't make enough money on these runs as it is. Gas too expensive. Oh my God, have you seen the cost of trucks? Well, give me an example of how this can be affordable.
What we did is we were with a insurance carrier out of Phoenix, Arizona called Redirect Health, and they provide a program. Actually, we designed it for FedEx, and the health rates are the same in all 50 states. It's $395 for single coverage, and it is a major medical plan with a $2,000 deductible and zero copays for primary care doctors. So
now we just
affordable.
Yeah, the $395 is what? How am I marketing? And I think I am marketing the hell out of it. Am I, as a contractor, paying part of that? Is the driver covering that themselves?
Usually, as the contractor, there's a requirement they pay 50%, and the driver pays 50%. And then they have the options to add their spouses or their children or families, if you will.
Raise that above the $395.
Well, of course.
If I were to theoretically pay the $100 a week it would cost to pay my driver's health benefits, I could say, hey, you come on and work for my company, we are going to cover your health benefits in its entirety with a major medical program.
Correct. And we do have clients that do that. Most of them pay 50 to 75%, but we do that pay for 100. We have one client that pays medical, dental, and vision because in their area, they can't attract drivers unless they do. So it is, the drivers are actually in the driver's seat, if you would, with benefits because there's such a demand for drivers. They need to provide them that benefit, if you would, to retain them and hire them. And so
check out that video, please. We'll have that posted tomorrow. And it's just somebody else offering a fantastic service. And for you new contractors, you want a way to separate yourself from the rest of the industry and from other line-haul contractors, offer somebody all their benefits. It's $100 a week. Squeeze that into your P&L, see if it works. And hey, come work for me and I'll pay all of your benefits, your health benefits for you. So, obviously, extremely valuable.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that he was saying, this feels like an obvious point, but it works a lot better for older drivers versus, the younger drivers who may not care as much about their health and just want to see the money. I mean, pay obviously is number one, right? You have to be competitive there. But number two, when you want to retain a good team, completely makes sense to try to offer benefits. And, it's reasonable. You pay half of it, employee pays the other half. Reasonable rates, right? $395, and then other ones out there you can reach out to, see if anyone's more competitive. But it makes sense. If someone doesn't think about what's going on at home, they can focus more on what they're doing.
It's a better product. Like this is a new thing that we're seeing. All 50 states, if you're injured, you don't have to worry about going to your home state, and plans that are attractive at a reasonable price. That's a very new thing, and that's what we need more of: pooling our purchasing power together and getting us better products that other industries get to take advantage of, helping make our businesses run more profitable. And health benefits is a big deal, especially, like you said, for those older drivers. People, guys who have families, like that's a reason for them not to leave your business. From my experience in the markets we recruited in, I don't know if health benefits is a major factor when it comes to recruiting. I haven't seen it. There's those people who say I have to have health benefits, but by and large, I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker in the majority of cases. But from a retention standpoint, they have the benefits. You're paying them. They're going to their doctors now that that your insurance has been providing them, or it's part of the in-network, and their family as well, especially with kids. They're going to think twice and a second and a third time before leaving you to go to another contractor, midweek, because they offered them an extra $500 bonus and 3 cents a mile. So that's where I see the idea of health benefits being so valuable to a FedEx Linehaul contractor.
Agreed. Try and keep someone that you want on the team, keep them interested. I remember when we were growing the beverage business, we were like every year it'd be looking at health benefits and the packages just to retain people, because we knew people were going to start leaving. And it happened plenty of times, and like people we want to keep on. And I just remember the struggle of like the cheapest plan we could find is like $600 per person. It's like, I can't afford this. We're still in startup mode relatively. And
that's what it was when we started in Linehaul. That price.
Insane. It was insane. Yeah. And then hearing this, I was like, what? Like, why wasn't this the case?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. To me, it makes a lot of sense, but that's how you want to run your business. I certainly think it makes sense for attention.
Yep. And please watch the rest of that interview. Extremely valuable. Talks about, interacting with your drivers and specific things that they see and what's important. And then reach out to those guys, get a quote and at least see what it looks like about including health benefits in your business.
Agreed. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's queue up EB Pro.
I need an exciting
Pro. I made that mistake before. EBO Pro.
You can't say that. Are you out of your mind? Oh my God, they're gonna kick your ass.
I know.
It's embarrassing.
We're
not cutting it. Do not cut this. No matter what happens.
Do not cut that, please.
What's going on, guys? We're back. I'm here with Rick. I'm Christian. Some call us the Regis and Kelly of Linehaul. And we're here with EB Pro. We have Jeff down right here in this corner. Karen right here.
Depends which corner you're looking at.
Oh, on my screen it looks like that. Anyway, Jeff, Karen, thank you guys for joining us. Can you guys tell us, what does EB Pro do?
Basically, it's EBO Pro, and it's basically electronic back office system. So EBO Pro basically takes everything that you do back office, and we have automated it for you. So we take everything from scheduling all the way through payroll, through employee files, and truck management.
I remember those days. I remember, God, I'm getting nauseous. And Christian was probably still in middle school at the time, but he'd come over and it'd be Wednesday night and I'd be sitting there with, the settlement printed out in my little notebook, and I'm printing how many miles did this guy do? And but it rolled over. So I'm not sure if did I pay them for the last week? Let me go to my notes from last week. And I can't read my chicken scratch handwriting. And there was just that. For anybody out there coming on, you better appreciate all of this phenomenal technology that we have access to that we didn't in the good old days, because they weren't that good. Walk me through the payroll, right? So we got the miles. How are my guys getting paid?
Yep. So on Tuesday night, right, you actually get to go to bed early. So Tuesday night at about 9:05.
Whoa. No one's going to bed early Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. Why, Christian?
Around the Hub starts at 9.
Fair enough.
They're tuning in around the Hub, but they can have a nice, peaceful experience because they know EBO Pro is taking care of their back office stuff.
Right. So Tuesday nights you can work the Hub and not work your payroll. Right. So the idea here is Tuesday nights about 9:10, you get the email of your settlement in your inbox, so you don't have to go pull it. Right. So that way you can archive it. You can forward it on to somebody else if you want to look at it directly. We automatically fetch it for you, download, process it.
Well, I think the reporting is really what's going to really hook people, because so many people are doing business blind, or they think they know, and they're trying to see, weekly, no, I'm making money on that run. But then when they look at it and they really look at it, they realize, it's not running all the time, or it's not running the way it should be, or maybe we're paying a little bit too much for this. Also, fuel efficiency. I mean, that's a big item right now. We have inside-outside fueling. I know a lot of people may not know how much their drivers are not actually complying with fuel efficiency. A lot of those things can slip through the cracks. And so if you get a weekly snapshot of reporting, which we are rolling out, I think it's huge, especially for new contractors, because you may have been in a different field than in the Linehaul field. And you may be used to seeing things or think that you know how to calculate certain things, but we all know that there's a lot more to it in the Linehaul business. And so we are only for Linehaul, and we have been only working with Linehaul for a very long time. And basically we try to just work with the contractor and give them what they want.
Somebody.
Everyone who calls us
No, everybody. Now you got me. I'm hooked. Everybody calls us what?
Yep.
I
I love it that you held that out.
Nobody
Everyone
heard
calls
anything
us,
that you just
the
said
majority of
because
people
you're
call
all
us, keep
frozen.
talking about, yeah, I'm sorry. Passive, right? Remote. Can I do this remotely? Can I do this passively? It's like, hey, you don't want to be completely distant from your business, but there is a method here where you can know what's going on in your business from a distance, right? And so Ebo Pro, getting something like this, being able to track what's going on makes complete sense. In terms of scheduling your payroll, not having to log into MyGroundBiz and just having that pull in and just having a nice report for you seems like a huge advantage. Seems like a massive headache relief.
Oh God, it's
I don't know. I just think it's worth checking out.
Business changing, for sure. So whatever it is, right? Like, just get somebody to help you sort through your data. That settlement statement can be very complicated, especially for people just getting started. It's not pretty. It doesn't sort itself right. It cuts off Fridays at midnight, and you can't see the entire trip, especially if you're running a team, or the back trip rolls on to the next week. So it's not intuitive. So a service like Evo Pro, and if you watch the longer video, we actually do a demo with them, and they're growing. They're adding features to their system. Check them out. They'll be a great option for many contractors, and it's sort of through that. And obviously, they're going to add features on to their system. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to be creating and making things easier. It's all about making our lives easier, as passive or as possible, just trying to take advantage of this laziness that I was blessed with.
It seems to be the underlying message of everyone that calls and is interested in FedEx.
I mean, that's it. Like, that's what the market wants. This is, people are spending insane amounts of money to buy these businesses. You got to give them what they want. That's who's paying the money. It's people who don't want to be at the terminal every day. People who don't want to be on the phones at 3:00 in the morning. They're going to need help. Who's going to provide the best service at the most reasonable amount of money to assist these contractors? That's who's going to win. And everybody we've spoken to, are certainly going to take some market share. And there's more that's needed. There's 2,000 or so contractors, and I guarantee, as crazy as it sounds, some of them don't even know what Around the Hub is. Mind-boggling, I know. We need to get the word out. Tell your friends. But the assistance that's there and the help that's there it feels like it's endless. Whatever assistance you need in Linehaul, it's available to you. And it could be just having somebody, listen with a friendly ear that understands what you're going through, maybe all you need. And it may be somebody who's providing a system so that you don't have to do your payroll manually with a notepad and pen on a Wednesday night. So Evo Pro, they're going to be players for sure. And they have been.
For sure. I mean, there's always so much. This day and age, we can track data better. It just makes sense to make that step and get a system like this, or get someone in place that can help you with your back office, your tracking. And I think that actually, you need a boss. Let's hit it.
Where do I find one of those?
Let's find out.
This just in, breaking news. Holy shit, what? Holy shit. Rick, do you have issues with your back office sometimes?
My God, I am the worst when it comes to my back office. I don't know what to do. How do I do my payroll?
It sounds like you need a boss in the office.
How do I get a boss in the office?
Oh, hey, Kristen.
Hey, Kristen.
Can you tell us, we're having a lot of trouble in our back office. Do you know someone that can help?
I absolutely do. I am definitely here for anyone that needs that help. The back office is tedious work and it's time consuming. And when you're trying to build a business, you need someone to help you out with that and do it so that you can continue growing.
Just to confirm, are you saying that you, payroll specialist, back office extraordinaire, true boss, are now offering your services for the first time ever in a worldwide exclusive brought to you live by Around the Hub, courtesy of Linehaul News, our friends? You're announcing it today.
That is exactly what I'm announcing.
Oh my God.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, so it is really an issue when I'm thinking about I got to run trucks. I have to do a lot of reports, requirements, right? There's a lot of things I got to get done on a weekly, monthly basis. Do you help me solve that?
Absolutely. I take care of it so you don't even have to worry about it. There are, besides just payroll, there are requirements from FedEx that has to be done each week, each month. And it's tedious work. And if you're just starting out and you don't have the program set up to automatically do this for you, then it's double the work. And I do all of that.
And I think from a contractor standpoint, payroll is one of those things that a lot of contractors will hold on to and keep that, close, and that'll be one of the last things they let go. What else are you providing for those contractors beyond the payroll services?
So, with the payroll services, I will figure up all the payroll, get it entered, submitted, always with approval. If there's anything I'm questioning, if I can't back up what the driver's telling me he's doing with the actual FedEx settlement or with what we see in Omnitrix, then I go straight to the top and make sure, hey, they're saying they did this, did they? I make sure it's all cleared before I'll push it.
Got it.
And as well as with payroll, there's workers' comp totals that come off of base of what people are paid. You have to make sure that is taken care of each week. There's just a lot more to it than just paying drivers for, the state, the federal,
good point,
all that. So I make sure that's all taken care of so you don't have to worry about it.
From a bookkeeping standpoint, what services can you provide a typical FedEx Linehaul contractor?
Mostly the accounting is important. So you have to make sure the stuff that is supposed to be coming in is, and you need to make contacts to make sure that's happening. And the stuff that's going out, you need to shop around. If what you're doing doesn't make sense for the business you're just starting, there's plenty of options out there. I'm the one to shop around and make sure you get the best bang for your buck.
Can I ask you, so you dealt with, you've been in the FedEx space, you dealt with contractors, you dealt with drivers. What would you say is one of the biggest issues that you see recurs?
I'm not sure that everyone's aware, but when the settlement comes in, I go through and double check to make sure there aren't any missing trips, any missing legs on there, and there almost is every week.
Yep.
And I track those down and I pull up the proof and then I submit them to FedEx to get those payments back. And I'm not sure everyone really knows that that's happening. They're just looking at their settlement bottom line, seeing, what they got paid. But there's a lot that's missing that I attack.
That's a great point. Like as a contractor, something doesn't get recorded and you might be missing revenue. Cash is not coming in. Or even, fuel, you might be spending too much. So like looking at that, making sure you're keeping track of that, I mean, it's critical to making sure you're getting the money in and be able to pay for your own business, be profitable, right?
Yes, and I am a stickler when it comes to the money, especially as far as fueling. There are specific places that these drivers get fueled that gives discounts to the contractor. And if these drivers aren't doing that and they're just going to a random truck stop or something like that, it's costing them way more money. And I keep track of that as well.
Awesome. Kristen, this is exciting. You are obviously a very experienced in the FedEx Linehaul space. And a lot of times it's tough to find people who really understand this world, all the little intricacies of being a contractor and the accounting and, the depreciation that comes into play that's unique to us and things that we can take advantage of too. Is there any other services that you are looking to provide and that other ways you can make a Linehaul business easier to own or, more successful, more efficient to run?
If there's something beyond what I've already offered, I'm asking questions, finding out what's going to make your life easier, what makes your business more successful, and that's what I'm going to attack. Whatever it is you need, I'm going to make sure I get it done for you.
Love it.
Awesome. Last question. Are FedEx contractors big divas?
Oh, absolutely.
That says it all, folks.
Right on, man.
Heard it here. Ooh. Kristen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're excited. Looking forward to big things coming from you. And did I hear correctly that you will be in Dallas with a booth to dominate this space?
Absolutely. I will be
yes.
doing it.
Check out Boss. Check out Kristen in Dallas.
See you guys there.
Very special shout out to Kristen for letting me run with that idea and being such an amazing trooper with that.
Huge shout out, team player. Thank you, Kristen. You go.
Yeah, I gotta go. Kristen is one of those, I think, vendors that we see that are people who are very successful working for a contractor. Contractor gets larger, and they know everything. They've been in Linehaul for years, and they understand the system. And then they offer their services. And we need more of those people. So if you are in a BC of business, you're helping in some kind of way, if you wanted to provide those services to the Linehaul community at large, we will help you get your services out there. Maybe even build you a business if you don't know exactly how to offer it, because that's what we need. Like, think of how many people need a Kristen. I need a Kristen in my business, but I can't afford a Kristen. You know, it's probably a 6-figure role that she's going to demand just for what she provides. Well, what if she offers that service to 10 different contractors and everyone is able to take advantage? So we all need a Kristen. Everybody needs Office Boss, and she's just, you know, one who's offering it and stepping out there and saying, hey, you know, I'm really good at this. You need me. Like, you are stupid if you do not hire me to help you run your business. Those are exactly what Kristen said to me, quotation.
I don't, close, you know, paraphrasing.
It was like that. It's been a while. It was a while ago.
Yeah, it's a few weeks. But the big thing is, like, we've shown people that, you know, back office solutions and help, and we mentioned this at the top. It's like, it depends. You should have the conversation with most, or if not all, these vendors and see who fits for you, right? Kristen has a ton of experience with a large contractor. Like, she's probably seen it all, can really help with all that. But beyond that, it's like, you know, work with her is probably more of a personal kind of touch to it. And maybe that works for you and your business. So it's worth having that conversation and seeing if it fits.
Yep. Then can we put her logo up? So if you wanted to contact Kristen, reach out to her. And this is new. She's just offering her services now. So get to her before everybody else does. And she cannot afford any of her time for you and your business. She's too busy working on mine. All right,
man.
Good episode. Another crop of, you know, vendors who are enabling you to run a better business, and whatever the word better means. And I say this again, if you're a vendor and you're offering services to the community, reach out to us. We want to help you get your voice out there. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know exactly how we can assist you to help more contractors. The space needs people who are willing to spend their time, their effort, their money in assisting contractors run more successful businesses. So by all means, we want to get that information out to those people. So reach out to us. Thank you to everybody who took this journey with us. An incredibly special shout out to Ashley, Anna, Kate, Moriel, Vin. Throw Kelsey in there. We have a fantastic squad, and my video editors are more creative and more amazing than your editors will ever be. So just come to our show for the best shit. All right. Everybody have a great night. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Including another day of programming. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Listen, breaking news.
A very pleasant and peaceful good night.